Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Full Court Press. I'm Ajay Salvesen. Eric and Jason are absent. Gone, not dead, alive, but not forgotten. They will be back with you on Wednesday. Happy to be hosting the show. Back in the old stopping grounds here at the Cash Valley Media Group here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan. Busy day we got to get on to. Of course, Game 7's on the road. Who needs home court advantage when you're the Timberwolves or the Pacers, right? Ridgeline Softball doing what they do best. Another state championship to add to their collection. We'll get to that as well. And we're going to talk some Utah State football, Utah State basketball. Of course, it's Aggies all day, every day here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan. For you listeners who want to join, love to have you on. 435-339-0321. 435-339-0321. Before I get to my guest, and this is going to be a good one, I'm excited to talk to our guest coming up here in just a moment. Got to ask you guys a question, okay? And I want you to respond now, and then we'll get to it later. Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley going to the Western Conference Finals. As former players of the Utah Jazz, and you being diehard Jazz fans, does that bug you, or are you rooting for them? Does that hope make you wish that they were back here? I mean, what's your thought process of Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert going to the Western Conference Finals? They'll take on the Dallas Mavericks. That series begins on Wednesday. Pacers Celtics begin Tuesday evening. All right, without further ado, we're not going to waste any more of his time. Utah State football has completed spring camp. They'll get ready for fall camp here coming up in the summer. And then, of course, the season gets underway with Robert Morris and one of the probably more, if not the most difficult schedule in the Blake Anderson era here at Utah State. It's a very difficult schedule, but they got some exciting things coming along, some new players in addition, and offensively, I think there's a lot of questions, understandably, but I think they got some of those questions answered well. Joining us here on the Full Court Press is the co-offensive coordinator and, of course, the wide receivers coach who, look, any receiver that comes to Utah State, Cefalo turns him into gold, and he's here joining us on the Full Court Press. Coach, hi, how are you?
I'm doing very well. How are you doing, man?
We are good. Hey, so Coach, recap us spring ball from an offensive standpoint. What was spring ball like? What did you see? What stood out to you?
It was a really good spring. It was a consistent spring. You looked around and you saw a lot of familiar faces, which is you don't always know what you're going to get going into a spring anymore with the state of college football and the way kids can transfer and people can transfer and different things like that. So I think the first thing you saw was, you saw a lot of faces that, played a lot of football for us last year. The wideout room especially, and, the running backs, the tight ends, the offensive line. And so I think that was a good thing to see because, we did some really good things last year. We struggled at times last year, but we had people growing up out there on the field. And then for those kids to choose to come back here and do it again with us, you just see confidence, you see maturity, and from my point of view, you see an exciting future.
We'll get to that really naughty word, the transfer portal, here in just a little bit. But as you said, last year, you guys did some good things. You finished 25th in the nation in total offense, 26th in scoring offense. What do you most attribute that to? Because, the way you guys run your offense, it's go, 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 go. But I felt like you guys improved in a lot of things, especially the turnover ratio. I thought that's something that stood out to me. What did you attribute most when you saw last year's squad?
Yeah, I think the first thing, if anyone watched this last year, is we were very explosive, and we were kind of explosive at any moment. Like you said, we go really fast, and, not every play is a home run, not every play is a great play, but all of a sudden, one of our running backs is running down the middle of the field with the football. One of our wideouts, has the football in the open field or is running by the DB. So we were able to be really explosive last year, which I thought, which is always something you're going to want to be. You're going to want to keep the defense on their heels. You want the fans to stay excited and engaged, and there's no better way to do that in a football game than to light up the scoreboard. But with that, I think we were striving. We come out of the season, we're striving for some more consistency. We were able to run the ball really well last year, and obviously, very dangerous, in the air. But I think it's, when we come out of a game and we look back, we were at our best when we were running and throwing the ball efficiently and also explosively. So that's, things we're looking back and what we did well and maybe what we did not do well and what we need to work on. So So, like I said, the good news is a lot of those kids that were making those plays and a lot of those kids that were making those mistakes are back, and you can't beat that. The one, making the play gives you confidence, and making a mistake gives you a chance to learn from it. And our coaches, we have a chance to keep correcting and keep coaching and encouraging. So it's a very good thing.
One of those guys coming back is last year he finished first team in the All Mountain West, and that's Jalen Royals. He comes back for another season. What's your conversation like with him, and what do you want to see him improve upon coming into the 2024 season?
Yeah, obviously Jalen burst onto the scene last year, which was just so proud of him and so happy for him, and comes from a great family, and he's such a great kid, and he works hard, and he's a great student, he's a great person. He really is an all around. He is an all-around great human being. I want him to build off the confidence that the season that he had last year, and my job is to continuously teach him and continuously push him and challenge him, and he's put himself in a position now where he wants to have another great year, and he wants a chance to play at the next level, and he's going to get that opportunity, but he knows. He knows how much work goes into it, and he knows, we're going to, the improvement of just, the offense and understanding what we're trying to get done and moving him around to different places and just, kind of utilize, one of our many weapons. And the good news with us is it seems like we always do have not just one, we have multiple weapons on offense. And obviously he's at, the top of that list. But just some more understanding of, what we're trying to do and, being able to, what the defense is trying to do to take him away, because if you're going to play us as a defensive coordinator, you need to have a plan for Jalen Royals. So what can we do as coaches, to maybe combat those, different things that they're doing against Jalen, and then Jalen understanding what they're trying to do and maybe what are the things that we need him to do and going to ask him to do. So incredible challenge ahead of us as coaches and also for Jay, but all the success he gets, he works for it, and it couldn't happen to a better human being. Just so excited for him, and just can't wait just for him to have an incredible senior season.
What do you want to see out of Colby Bowman? He's had some bright spurts, here and there, but what do you want to see to get more consistency out of Bowman?
Yeah, and that consistency is a very popular word, and even with some of the guys that we've had a tremendous success with, you're always, as an offense, we're striving to be more consistent. We were exciting and explosive, but we can all be more consistent. And Colby falls in that list, just like a lot of the players in our team do. And I think it was big for him. He's been in college for a while, and obviously he was at Stanford and he graduated with a degree from there. But from high school till last season, he didn't play much football. Wasn't out in the games very often, and was a role player for the team he played for previously, and then for us. Like you saw, he could be he's explosive and he has some talent and some ability, but every rep he's getting out on the field is a chance for him to gain more confidence, and kind of learning, just because he hasn't taken a lot of snaps at wide receiver, at the Division I level. But Colby's an incredible kid, great presence in my room, special teams, phenomenal player there. Knows his role, and also has the ability to become a leader, which I like, and he's all in. He wants to win. He wants to have a great year. So, want him to keep working on a bunch of different things, but just an incredible young man to have on the roster.
Kyle Cefalo, co-offensive coordinator of Utah State football, wide receivers coach as well, joining us here on the Full Court Press on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. Coach, let's go ahead and get to the elephant in the room. You lose Cooper Legault, you lose McKay Hillstead, Spencer Petras. Looks like he could be that guy that could start game one. What are you seeing from the quarterback room, and who stood out to you, and what have you seen out of Petras?
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to, no one's gonna sit here and, complain about the state of college football and where it's at. It's the new reality, and now you have to adapt, and coaches have to make decisions just as the players are making decisions, and you can't look too far ahead. You gotta be focused on the season at hand, the season that's coming up, and obviously, a lot of attention gets put on the kids that are leaving, and I wish at times more attention got put on the kids that are staying. I wish there was more attention on the on the Robert Briggses of the world. I wish there was more attention on the Brock Lanes, the Josh Sterzers, the Cole Moats, the Pulealos, the Micah Davises. I can go down the list of kids that chose to stay, and that doesn't mean they didn't have opportunities to leave. So, just very proud of the kids that stayed. And the kids that left, you don't take it personal anymore. It is what it is, and some kids are making decisions that they feel is best for them, and you got to let them do that. But between Spencer Petras and Bryson Barnes being in the room now, it's that's a lot of college football that's been played between those two guys at very, very, very high levels. When you're talking about the Big Ten, you're talking about Bryson playing in Rose Bowls. I love the maturity that they bring and the work ethic and their preparation. I mean, they prepare for a practice just like the coaches prepare for a practice, and then you put on top of that, you put some talent on top of that, and they both do some things a little bit different, but they both have some really, really good skill sets. So I like where it's at, and obviously we're adding more bodies to the room, and like I said, I wish everyone that left, man, I wish them nothing but the best, and I don't no ill feelings, no bad blood at all. But like I said, we got some incredible kids that chose to stay, and they deserve and demand my 100% attention.
Well, let's talk about those guys in the room. Spencer Petras and Bryson Barnes. This is I feel like it's a brand new offense for them to learn because of the way you guys play in regards to pace. And something that, Iowa football is a little bit different from that. I would say Utah football, to an extent, is different from that. What's the biggest coaching adjustment or biggest adjustment for them to have to learn of this offense?
Well, yeah, I mean, I think you hit it on the head there. I mean, there's, the differences are just so glaring, just the way we do things, and right, wrong, or indifferent. That's not what that conversation is about. It's just about the way we do things and how they adapt. And I think one of the first thing for especially a quarterback in this offense is the pace of play. We're not in a huddle. You got to get a signal. You've got to communicate. And we expect you, as soon as everyone's set and you've communicated, we expect you to snap the ball, and we expect you not only to snap the ball, but now put your eyes in the right place, make the right decision, understand, what your checks are, understand where you need to protect yourself. And it all happens so fast, and the only way to get comfortable doing those things is to prepare, to study, but then to do them in practice and make some mistakes and let us as coaches kind of continue to push you along. And that goes for anybody, any position in our offense that is new, because it is a different style, it is a different pace. But as the quarterback, we put a lot on that kid. Just of the command they have to have, and we go at their tempo, and I'm always yelling at the wideouts to get set, and the running backs, the tight ends, the O-line, they all got to get set. But at the end of the day, we go as fast as the quarterback lets us go. And I think these guys, it was very new to them, but they're understanding what we're doing, and you could just see throughout the spring the confidence they were gaining, and it was starting to show up, and that's very, very exciting. It's very exciting just to watch, kids work, to prepare, but then also see the results start to come out on the field, and so we're going to keep working on that. We got a big summer ahead of us, and they'll be with Coach Jackson, and then fall camp will sneak up on us like it always does, and we'll look up and we'll be in week 8, week 9 of the season, just as we all know. So, but very, like I said, excited. A lot of work to do. A lot of reps to still put in, a lot of communication, a lot of mistakes still to make. But, we got some time to make them, so let's make them, let's fix them, let's move on.
Hey, you talked about the running back room a little bit, and fan favorite Robert Briggs. Everyone seems to love this guy, including you guys as coaches on the offensive side of the ball. What has he brought to the team so far, and especially in regards of leadership in the running back room, and maybe not even just on the running back room, but even in the offensive side of the locker room? What have you seen out of Robert Briggs, and what excites you about him this year?
Yeah, it's funny, man. You look at it, he's a running back that our staff, had brought in, and, it was 2 years ago he was the true freshman. Now you look up all of a sudden and he's a junior. And he's one of our most experienced, backs, and an experienced guy on the team on our offense. And, I think, right when Robert got here, obviously as a true freshman, I think it was the first game, I think it was the UConn game where he broke a big run for a touchdown, and it was obvious to see his speed, his quickness, his burst, and just his overall athleticism. And so that was obviously, shows some of the reasons why he was recruited. But now, going on to year 3 of him in this, in this system, and, just becoming a more mature running back, and not just being the fast guy and the quick guy, but, understanding what's happening in front of me, understand what, the O-line is doing, what they're blocking, who they're working to, which blocks do I need to push and hug and different things like that. And I would, I think coming out of the spring, we had some conversations with him about the things we wanted him to improve on, and he's done it. I mean, he's turning himself into a complete running back, and then just another kid, man. I love Rob. I love his attitude, and he wants to work. He wants to be good, and he still wants you to coach him. He doesn't think he's has all the answers, and luckily there's times we can just give him the ball and let him do his thing. But he wants to work on the things that he needed to work on, and I think in the spring that showed up, and now he's got the summer and fall camp to fine tune the things he's working on, and continuously put himself in a position where his body can handle being a running back every day in Division I football, and couldn't be more excited for the season that Robert Briggs has the capability of having.
I know this sounds like an obvious question, so forgive me for asking it, but what's it been like serving on the offensive side of things for coaching decisions along with Coach Blake Anderson?
It's great, man. I mean, we've worked together for a long time, and we've I learned a lot from him when I was young, and I think the good thing about Coach A and I is we there's things that we like to do, and there's things that we are very comfortable with, but we haven't shied away from learning something new, and we haven't shied away from making adjustments. Maybe it's something we haven't done before as an offense, and we learned it, and then we were able to teach it to our guys. So we're always, we believe in what we do. We love what we do. We love our offense. We love our system, but we're never scared to try something new, or admit you need an answer for this, and let's go find it, or let's go, maybe someone can teach it to us or teach us something different. And that goes for myself and Coach A, and that goes for Coach Bassett, Coach T. Alavea, and now Coach Beal's our new running backs coach. But just the ability for us all to work together in that room, and Hayden Kingston, Brandon Bowling, and Cobb Summers, our analysts and our GAs, man. I mean, we're all in this thing together. And we work really well together, and we work really hard. But, Coach A and I, we've been through a lot together on and off the field, but we have, we understand, what we're trying to do, and, we're confident in it. And I think that goes down to the players. I think the players see an offensive staff that's close. They see an offensive staff that cares. And they see an offensive staff that genuinely cares about one another, and that doesn't fall short on the players either. And I think it's just really important. And that leadership and that environment starts at the top with Coach A, and it's our jobs as assistants to continue to preach and to act in a way that exemplifies our culture. So I think it's really important.
Co-offensive coordinator Kyle Cefalo joining us here on the Full Court Press on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan. Coach, I know you're modest about your accomplishments. That's something you don't like to talk about. In fact, you like to avoid it. I understand. But with the amount of success you've had in the 3 seasons, now going into your 4th season here at Utah State, Devin Tompkins, Brandon Bowling, and Derek Wright might be the greatest trio of receivers we've ever seen in program history on a single team. Brian Cobbs, I mean, the list goes on. Terrell Vaughn's, what he did last year. What are some goals, or maybe personal, I don't even know what to call it, personal goals, I guess is what I'll say. I know it sounds egocentric, but what are some of those goals that you have in mind going into your 4th year that you want to try to accomplish personally for you as a football coach? Yeah,
I mean, first and foremost, I want to win. That's always what I want, and I want to have success. I want the whole football team to have success, and yeah, I'm very prideful in the group of wide receivers, and the way I coach them, the way I talk to them, and the way I communicate to them, the way I love them, and I think that shows up on Saturday. I think that shows up in the way they have played for me, and I always appreciate that. But the most important thing for me is, man, I want to continuously learn. I've had some success. We've had some success, but you never want to feel like you know it all. You never want to get to that point, and then when you think you know it all, that's when someone someone runs by you when you least expect it. And I constantly want to be, whether it's drills, whether it's routes, or whether it's a way to communicate, just always take on the challenge of how do I get my guys to play well? How do I get them to understand kind of what we're doing? But there's been we've accomplished a lot. But to me, the biggest compliment I can get as a coach is, especially nowadays, when the players choose to stay. When they choose to stay to play for you and to play for your staff and to play for that university. I mean, that's probably the biggest compliment we can get these days as coaches, is when they might have opportunities and they might have opportunities to make more money and different things like that, but they choose to stay because they want to play with you. And then as a coach, I take that, and I don't take that lightly, and I want to if they're going to choose to stay with me, I want to help them achieve their goals. And if the players are achieving their goals and they're achieving their dreams, that probably means that I'm getting close to doing the same. But at the end of the day, man, I love coaching this group of wideouts. I love this wideout room. I feel like now that I'm in my fourth year here, I feel like myself and Coach Anderson, we've built this room. And these kids, I want them to be here, and they've chosen to be here, and they've chosen to stay here. So I couldn't be happier about that. And like I said earlier, I know the transfers get attention. Oh, there's another kid leaving. There's another kid doing this. Think about all the kids that chose to stay, and think about the kids that believe in what we're doing. They believe in themselves. They believe in their teammates, and that's the most exciting part for me. And we have a heck of a schedule coming up, as you mentioned. But you know what? We have a group of kids that they chose to be here, they chose to stay here, and they want to achieve something special. And as coaches, we're going to put them in the best positions to do that. And I couldn't be more excited. Definitely going to enjoy the summer. They're going to work really hard. We got some camps coming up in June, and then I'm going to, get away like I always do and go visit my family and go do some fishing. But when I come back at the end of July and August rolls around, I'm ready to work. I'm ready to have fun, and we're ready to compete. And like I said, man, just can't say it enough. Just how excited I am for these kids, and the work they're putting in, the work they're about to put in, and it's all going to come down to the fall and wins and losses on Saturdays, and I'm here for it, man.
Hey, what is your getaway? Like, where do you go? What's your fishing spot? Give us the 411 on that.
Oh, I got my local fishing spot that you can always find me. You can always find me up the Logan River and in the Blacksmith Fork River, up that separate canyon. But honestly, when I get some vacation time, I mean, the first thing I do is I go home. My whole family lives in New England. My parents, my sisters, my nieces and nephews are all back there. So I try to get home, and we have my parents have a beautiful house back, on the ocean. So I try to in the summer, I try to go back, around the 4th of July and go for a couple weeks. And man, I sit on the beach almost every day, and I play a little golf, and I do a little fishing, and I get to spend the time with my family because, as I get older, my parents get older. And everyone, and so you just cherish the time you get to spend with each other, and luckily I work for a man that nobody appreciates and values family more than he does, and understands just the importance of having that balance. And I think that's what I've been able to do in my life. Is I love college football, and I love coaching, and I want to win, and I want my wideouts to be the best in the world, and I want our offense to be the best. But it's important to have balance in your life, and that's one thing that I think I do a really good job of. Is when it's time to work, it's work time, and when I do get that little bit of free time, I'm able to take a deep breath and enjoy it.
Hey, I've only seen Bill Belichick smile like maybe a couple times. I'm a diehard Patriots fan, but he always talks about the Nantucket muffins. I mean, the food over there, at least the bakery items, are those as good as Coach Belichick says?
That's funny because I am going to Nantucket this summer. That's where I am actually.
Oh, you're kidding me!
Me and my family and I are going over there. We're going to spend a week on the island.
Oh, good for you.
My parents actually used to have a house on the island, and they had it for a long time. And they ended up selling it a few years back. So Nantucket is it's a special place. It's very unique. It's a small island. But it's absolutely gorgeous, and they got great restaurants, incredible food, incredible culture, great golf courses, great fishing, great beaches. I mean, if you don't like any of those things, I don't know what's wrong with you. So no, yeah, that's a special spot, and the food is always good, and I can't wait to spend a week there.
Hey, Coach, we can't wait for July and for camp to get going. And, of course, Robert Morris here to open up the season for Utah State football. Look forward to that. Enjoy the offseason, Coach. Get some R&R, and we'll talk to you in July.
All right, sounds good. Thanks for having me, guys.
All right, thanks, Coach.
Bye.
That's Coach Cal Cefalo, the offensive coordinator, co-offensive coordinator of Utah State football. Great guy. And genuine. I've sat with him in meetings with, the radio broadcast crew, and we get a chance to just pick their brain, and you listen to Coach Cefalo talk football, it's pretty incredible, like the IQ he has. You listen to Coach Cefalo talk about the kids and leave out the football part, he loves them. He adores them. And, people ask, why do receivers like Jalen Royals, who got offered several offers for a lot of money, want to come back? It's because of people like Kyle Cefalo, without question. And what he's built there in the receiver room is just absolutely incredible. It's good stuff. Appreciate him joining us on the Full Court Press. Appreciate Doug Hoffman, the media relations director, and helping us set up that interview. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Game 7's on the road, successful for the Pacers, for the Wolves. One of those teams had former Jazz players on it. My question to you guys, text in 435-339-0321. Does it bug you that Mike Conley and Rudy Gobert are going to the Western Conference Finals when we have this great team assembled, and because there are some egos maybe involved, or an ego specifically involved, that this team had to get split up, carved apart, shredded, and now the Jazz are looking at the 10th lottery pick again? Does it bother you? It's all coming up here on the Full Court Press. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Retirement. Are you ready? Adams Wealth Advisors specializes in preparing you for a secure retirement. There's no reason to feel frustrated. The team at Adams Wealth will create a personalized plan that includes timing of retirement, reliable income sources, Social Security, estate planning, and more. Adams Wealth Advisors has a team of CPA, certified financial planners, Social Security experts to help you plan and retire with confidence. Call today, 752-1702, or visit adamswealthadvisors.com. That's adamswealthadvisors.com. Your dream retirement starts here.
You recognize that song. I'm talking to you, class of 1976. Hi, this is Rusty Allen with LSS Insurance, and turning 65 means it's time to talk Medicare. LSS is here to help. Call 752-9493 for help with Medicare. As your local agent, we will research benefits, costs, and look up prescriptions so there aren't any surprises at the pharmacy. Call LSS at 752-9493.
Summer in Cache Valley is beautiful, and the Sportsman on Main Street has all your bike needs covered. Get your bike in now for service or a tune-up. We can usually get your service done in about 2 days. Be ready for the beautiful riding days ahead. If you need a new bike, we have kids to adult full suspension mountain bikes and e-bikes for around town or the mountains. From bikes to helmets to locks and clothing, come and see us at the Sportsman on Main Street in downtown Logan for all your biking needs.
This is Ryan at My Mattress. My wife and I were laughing the other day because she read an article about things not to buy online. The first thing was prom dresses. Dresses advertised versus dresses delivered. Needless to say, what people thought they were getting is not what they got. It's much the same with mattresses. Almost always, buying a mattress online ends in buyers being let down. At My Mattress, we try to always exceed expectations. Lower prices than online, and better beds. Only at My Mattress.
Hello, I'm Becky Funk, Branch Operations Manager at Cache Valley Bank. I've spent 13 years in banking, and I'm ready to use my experience to help you with your accounts and financial goals. I have a great team of tellers and bankers who provide you with the personalized attention you deserve. Come visit me at our main branch or give me a call. Let me help you open an account and show you what makes us so great. We look forward to meeting you. Cache Valley Bank member, FDIC.
It's the Full Court Press, weekday afternoons from 4 to 6 on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Full Court Press, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan. It's Ajay Salvesen subbing in for Eric and Jason as they are absent. I believe they'll be back on Wednesday. It's good to have you guys. Also, get a chance to chat with you guys Appreciate Derek and Jason and Mr. Francis giving me the chance to sit in and host the show for today. Big thanks to Kyle Cefalo of Utah State Football for joining us on the show, taking some generous time to talk Utah State Aggie football. Should be an interesting season. Look, I mean, as he said, they lost some guys, yes, but we don't talk enough about the guys who are staying. Right, Razul Faison, Robert Briggs, Micah Davis, Jalen Royals. I think Spencer Petras is going to pick it up really quickly. I think there's some optimism there with what he's going to do as the what I would imagine the starter for Utah State football coming up in week 1. Again, it's a tough schedule, you guys. I'm sure you've been talking about it ad nauseum and in spades with Eric and Jason. This is a really, in the 4 years, this will probably be the most difficult schedule that Coach Anderson and his team has faced. You look at it, at USC against Lincoln Riley, home against Utah, Winningham and his Utes. That is a college football playoff caliber football team. 100%. That is a very, very good football team. They got everybody coming back. That includes Cam Rising. They're going to be extremely talented inside Maverick Stadium. Should be a good one. Hope you guys will go out there or at least try and get your tickets to get out to that football game. Should be a dandy. But then you're at Boise State. New Mexico is not going to be a pushover with Bronco Mendenhall. I think UNLV will be decent. You're at Colorado State and at Wyoming, which nothing ever goes as planned there. Ball always bounces, weird things always happen. We all know the story about the about the Hail Mary that wasn't the Hail Mary, about the field goal snafu with Colorado State inside Maverick Stadium just a couple years ago. I mean, it's just craziness. And then Wyoming's always a tough place to play at. So a really difficult schedule, and again, with that difficult schedule, you have some consistency with guys coming back on the offensive, defensive side as well. Ike Larson's going to have to be really, really good this year. But under Coach Drilling, the new defensive coordinator, I think you're going to see some massive improvements on that regard. Let's get to our text line, 435-339-0321. Again, 435-339-0321. Love to hear from you guys, our awesome listeners. Piranhas checks in. Ajay! Hey. By the way, need your guys' help. Piranhas, I'm putting this on you, okay? My Twitter account, okay, I might have clicked on a link that may have not have been a good link, but I didn't know until I clicked on it, and my old Twitter account got hacked, spammed, and scammed. And so I have a new Twitter account. It's at Salvytot. That's at SALVYTOT. Salvytot. I need you guys to follow me. I got to get back to the follower. I mean, I had this awesome, great group of followers, and then I got scammed, all right? So I'm sorry. But when the president of Nigeria says he needs help, you freaking help him, all right? His father owns the country. If you know the reference, then you're laughing right now. At Salvytot, that's my new Twitter account. Please follow me. I beg of you, please follow me. 8968, in regards to the question about Anthony Edwards, about Rudy Gobert and Mike Conley, now with Minnesota, formerly with the Jazz. Minnesota headed to the conference finals after a stunning comeback, down 17, come back and win, actually down 20 in the third, come back and beat Denver. I mean, and put a beating on them in the third quarter. We're going to get to that more in just a bit. Conley, Gobert. Do you ever just think of like, God, what could have been? Does that bother you at all? 8968 says, no, neither. They're gone. He's moved on. Good for you. You're able to just move on with it. I'll tell you why here in just a bit. Let's get through these texts. 9315. Hi, 9315. Gladly the best host of the show. Today, make sure you print out the text line that you're the best so Eric knows it's MAGA, s'more, worthy for your time. I do not have the time to translate the last half of your text, but I do love s'mores. I love s'mores. 2305 texting. Good to hear you're hosting. Thank you, 2305. Hope you're well. He continues. I don't think it bothers me because those players, when they were with the Jazz, had every opportunity to prove that they were worthy of being successful, and they didn't do it. So how can we be disappointed with their success now? Take care. Hey, well, thank you, 2305, for the text. Thank you, Piranhas, for following me on Twitter. So can I ask you, 2305, was it a team thing or was it a player thing? And when I say a player thing, guys, so I called my dad yesterday after the Wolves made that comeback and won Game 7 to advance to the conference finals. I called my dad and I said, man, did you watch that game? Is that incredible? My dad didn't talk anything about Mike Conley or Rudy Gobert playing well in that game. What he talked about is what we lost, what we gave up, what we sacrificed to be a mediocre or lower than mediocre basketball team. This Utah Jazz team from 2017 to 2021 was competing in the Western Conference, a competitive Western Conference. But then egos got in the way. And I still, and please disagree with me if you do. I want to hear your opinions to see if I'm being overly negative about him. But Donovan Mitchell ruined this basketball team. Like, his ego just got the best of him. He had that incredible rookie year. He was phenomenal. Probably should have won Rookie of the Year, right? And then year 2, just, thought, he became a little bit too big for his britches. And then all of a sudden, goes by the wayside Joe Ingles. Bojan Bogdanovic, excuse me, I thought was a tremendous asset for this team. The Italian medallion, look, I give that guy grief. I do. But there was bright moments that he had. Just the leadership, the chemistry in the locker room. I thought there was chemistry in the locker room. You had Mike Conley, Mr. Reliable when he's on the court. Just bothers me to watch, and I'm happy for him. Don't get me wrong. I'm happy for Mike Conley. It was great to see him and Rudy Gobert have a tremendous third and fourth quarter to pull away for that win against Denver. But that should have been the Utah Jazz. In 2024, if this young core sticks around, Rudy, Joe, Mike Conley, I guess that's not a young part of the team, but the veteran, the savviness, like if that team sticks around, that's Utah Jazz in the Western Conference Finals. Am I crazy? Am I wrong? Help me. Instead, we're drafting 10th. We even dropped in the lottery, for crying out loud, you guys. We're 10th in the lottery. 10th. And in a lottery that's absolute crap, there's really not a lot of good that's coming out of this lottery, this draft. Where's the upside to doing what we're doing here? Is there an upside for Danny Ainge and Ryan Smith in this organization? Because if not, I'm telling you right now, NHL is going to oversell, and they are going to outdo Utah Jazz basketball in so many ways. Marketing, ticket sales, performance. Jazz can't do that. They can't become this bottom feeder team. 7994 text in. Ajay, glad to hear you get a chance to host. Hey, thank you. It is kind of like a blowout basketball game when all the walk-ons get to play. Yes, I once was a scholarship player, had my scholarship removed, and I'm a walk. You're right, absolutely. 7994, great to hear from you. Thank you so much for texting in. Just tell me if I'm wrong. That should have been the Utah Jazz. This roster, and maybe part of the problem was Quinn Snyder. There's a lot of stories I've heard that Quinn Snyder was part of this problem. Lack of adjustments, right? We remember that LA Clippers series. And we let Terrence Mann, out of all people, Terrence Mann beat us in Game 7, I think it was. And people, and the problem was that people blamed Rudy Gobert for that loss. But now you're watching Rudy Gobert literally fit on the court, the same court with Karl Anthony Towns and Anthony Edwards. How does it work with them, but it can't work with Donovan Mitchell and work with Joe Ingles and work with Royce O'Neal, George Niang? Gosh, dang. 2305 text in. Remember the one thing we had, George Niang playing a lot of minutes, and nobody was happy with the overall talent on that team. The Wolves are a more talented team, and they do have chemistry that the Jazz lack. Not much you can do about that. We wanted them to win, but something was going on in those years. And I agree. I think it's been said publicly, too, by guys like Tony Jones, who does a great job as a beat writer for the Utah Jazz, Andy Larson, Sarah Todd. They, all three of them, said and agreed that was a extremely hard year. That final year of Mitchell, Gobert, Joe, that was an extremely hard year to cover. And I've always, I want to ask Tony sometime, or Andy, just what exactly was hard about it? What made it difficult? Was it the lack of camaraderie between the media and players? What was it that made it so hard to cover? But there was friction in that locker room, and I still, to this very day, I blame Donovan Mitchell. 9315 text in. The upside is Hokie and Aggie sports. Sadly, this is not a good rebuild. Is crappy. Yes, absolutely. 8968. I think there was a potential lost. Or excuse me, let me reread that. I apologize. I think there was potential lost, but no one could get them to play together, and that's right. And the other issue is that Donovan Mitchell, and again, I'm anti Donovan Mitchell. I really am. Because Donovan Mitchell would refuse to give the ball to Rudy. He would refuse to play with Rudy. Ever since that COVID incident, the 2020 season, things went south. The chemistry in that locker room started to rot away. Even with good veteran leadership, like Mike Conley, like Joe Ingles, it still continued to rot away, and that's when you know it's bad. Egos got in the way. Now, with saying that, and you guys are very complimentary, as you should be, of this Timberwolves team, let me ask you, can the Timberwolves be that young team where they become a dynasty? Remember the Oklahoma City Thunder when they had Durant, Westbrook, and Harden? And everyone said this team, after they went to that NBA Finals and they got beat 4-1 by the Miami Heat, right? Peak LeBron James, you had Mike Miller, Chris Bosh, Dwayne Wade, the whole team, right? Everyone said, well, don't worry, the Thunder are going to be back in this spot, and they're going to be here for a while. All of a sudden, Westbrook's gone, Harden's gone, and KD goes. That team started to fry away. Now they're back in the Western Conference. Well, they got back into the playoffs, right? Lost to the Dallas Mavericks. But that's a young team. Now, many people are saying with SGA that this team's going to be here and the future is very bright and they're going to be contending in the Western Conference. But the problem is egos and money. You're going to see with Minnesota, you guys. This is a great story right now, right? Anthony Edwards, Karl-Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, Mike Conley in the last peak of his window before he's going to call it a career, riding off into the sunset. The problem is they have a short window because financially they can't do it. They cannot keep this team together financially. When the pony has to pony up financially, how are you going to pay Rudy Gobert, the 4-time Defensive Player of the Year, Karl-Anthony Towns, and one of the most up-and-coming and what is going to be a future star in this league for many years, barring any, and God forbid, any injuries come to him, Anthony Edwards. These guys are going to command a lot of money. Can Minnesota afford all three of them? My answer is no. And which is a shame because you get to build teams like this, and because of money and the demand that they're going to have, how long can you keep them? Minnesota wins last night in Game 7, 98-90. They have the biggest comeback in, I believe, conference finals history. Game 7 NBA playoff history. They were down 15.5, down 20 early in the third, come back. And by the way, Anthony Edwards was not great. He had just 4 points, no boards, 3 assists at halftime. Finished with 16 points, 8 boards, 7 assists. But he went 6 of 24 from the field, 2 of 10 from 3. Finally, he realized, look, my shot's not doing it. I got to start finding the right guys, make the right decisions on the court. Did that. Guys hit shots. And then all of a sudden, Minnesota started to kind of get some rhythm, end up pulling away in this game. Denver just looked like they were out of juice. They were out of gas. Those guys looked so doggone exhausted. But to lose Game 7 at home like that's a killer. Those are the kind of losses, just ask Utah Jazz, those are the kind of losses that can do one of two things to your franchise. Either you guys come back even stronger and this Denver team goes on this absolute revenge tour of a terror, or people start to fall apart. Pointing fingers starts to come, right? MP Jr. was not good at all in any point of this playoffs. He was horrible. You know, how long can Jamal Murray and Jokic keep this up? And Bruce Brown, that loss of Bruce Brown on this team was a huge, huge dent to this squad. Huge. So, again, how long can this, teams like this, Denver Nuggets, we haven't had a repeat champ, guys, in 6 years. We have not had a repeat champ. Is it 6 years, I believe, that we have not had a repeat champ? It's crazy to me. 2305, going back to the Donovan Mitchell conversation, says something about Donovan Mitchell not fitting in either in Utah or with the team he was on. I wouldn't want him back on the team nowadays, even though he's talented. I would rather see what we can get in the next couple of years. Mitchell will never be someone that would have won in Utah, I don't think. And I almost agree with you. By the way, speaking of karma, did you guys see the Gordon Hayward press conference postseason, like the media locker clean out? Gordon Hayward. Did you guys hear about this? I'll have to find it on Twitter if I can. Insane. Gordon Hayward was moved or was traded to Oklahoma City. Up-and-coming team. They want some veteran experience. Gordon Hayward brings that. He's been in Game 7s. He's been in the playoffs. Like, this guy can help lead a team, right? He sees his role reduced. He gets upset about it. And then he comments on it, pretty much bashing the organization. It's unreal. Grass is never greener when you leave the Utah Jazz. Darren Williams, right? One of those guys. Kyle Korver, I feel bad for. Derek Favors, I feel bad for. Those guys, it wasn't their choice. They were shipped out. But Darren Williams, Gordon Hayward, Donovan Mitchell, we'll find out. We'll see. He's going to want to go to New York. I don't think the Knicks really want him. Maybe they do. If they do, what do you do with Jalen Brunson? Grass is never greener when you leave the Utah Jazz. I'm just saying. And by the way, grass is never greener when you're a men's basketball coach at Utah State and you leave for quote-unquote greener pastures. Just ask the other two coaches before Danny Sprinkle. All right, more of the Full Court Press. We're going to come up back and wrap it up here. 106.9 FM, 1390 AM, The Fan.
Your men's ring yet? We know that he got you the perfect ring, so let's get him one that will show how much you care, such as a one-of-a-kind Damascus steel, his choice of camo, or an exquisite redwood inlay. And if you really want something out of this world, come check out our meteorite rings. For the largest selection of unique men's rings, make it special, make it Jarek's at 930 North Main in Logan.
Jarek's Fine Jewelry. Make it special, make it Jarek's.
Get ready for big savings at Daryl's Appliance. Starting May 16th, our Memorial Day special kicks off with our exclusive mail-in rebates on GE appliances. This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance. Whether you're upgrading your kitchen or laundry room, now is the time to buy. With rebates up to $500 and a $100 bonus on GE commercial top-load laundry pairs, you won't find deals like these anywhere else. Don't miss out on the chance to save big on top-quality GE appliances at Daryl's Appliance. Sale starts May 16th. Don't wait. Daryl's Appliance, your trusted source for home appliances.
Has this happened to you lately?
Oh! Not again!
A rock hitting your windshield causing a crack in your glass. Your windshield is no longer just a piece of glass. Your windshield plays a big role in you and your family's safety. You want to make sure that you go somewhere that can provide your vehicle with all the necessary calibrations and programming so that your car is back to pre-accident condition. Hi, this is Josh Watts with Preston Watts Collision and Glass, and for 3 generations we have provided Cache Valley with the #1 auto glass, collision, and towing services. We have kept up with the times and strive to provide you with the best customer service you can find. If you're going through insurance, we will waive up to $100 off your insurance deductible. Our reviews say it all. Give us a call at 435-563-3215. That's 435-563-3215. Or look us up online. At Preston Watts Collision and Glass, we do it right.
Experience Barrel and Stave on Federal Avenue, where good food, good drinks, and good people meet. Using local ingredients to create the most delicious taste possible. Barrel and Stave is a cozy cocktail bar offering a large selection of wines, whiskeys, and cocktails, along with an amazing selection of bar bites and weekly chef specials, guaranteed to tantalize your taste buds. With handmade pasta nights every Tuesday and Thursdays that offer $2 off drafts. Come see what you've been missing. Barrel and Stave, Tuesday through Saturday evenings on Federal Avenue in Logan.
No matter what the condition, DD Auto and Salvage can get your vehicle off your property. Now is the time to make some extra cash by calling DD Auto and Salvage. Let them pay you for that old junk vehicle. DD Auto and Salvage makes it easy to get rid of your junker vehicle, paying you the most money possible. Pickup is available. Call 787-1204.
That's 787-1204.
And call today. See store for details.
Hi, I'm Jay Broadbent with Alpine Home Medical. I'd like to invite you to learn more about us. Since 1997, we've been Utah's premier one-stop shop for home medical equipment. What sets us apart at Alpine Home Medical is the superior level of customer service. We provide home oxygen, CPAPs, wheelchairs, scooters, breast pumps, and so much more. Come on down and get to know us.
Alpine
Visit alpinehomemedical.com.
Do you have a fireplace or stove that isn't working right? Why wait until next winter to get it fixed? Get ahead of the game and get your fireplace or stove serviced now by Advanced Fireplace and Stove. They service everything from Quadra-Fire pellet stoves to heat and glow fireplaces. Get a 20% discount on your next service and labor when you mention this ad. Call 752-7272 or go to advancedfireplaceandstove.com. Advanced Fireplace and Stove, where comfort is their business.
Breaking down the biggest games with in-depth analysis and team interviews. It's the Full Court Press with Eric Franson and Jason Walker.
Back here on the Full Court Press, I'm Ajay Salvesen. Thanks for letting me be a part of your guys' evening here on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan. 2305 text in. Ajay, I must compliment you when you have the show. You run it efficiently and quickly. It's more fun to listen to what you have going on. Wish you were here on more. Oh, well, 2305, that's very kind of you. Thank you so much. It's an honor to just even be able to sub in. I love it. So thank you so much. 2305 also asks, what can you tell us about the new transfer from Oregon State to the Aggie basketball team? One word, yummy. This guy loves contact. Like, think of Alfonso Anderson from that 2020 basketball team, right? The year that team had the tournament canceled. Great length, not afraid of contact, can get to the rim. Just the way he scores, it's tough points. He earns the tough points. That's something the Utah State Aggies have needed here, and they're going to need the Mountain West Conference. I love everything about him. I was told that the Josh Udeze transfer was all just on bad advice from his agent. That people take bad advice and sometimes make the wrong decision, and that was one of the cases with Josh Udeze. But they got a great get in this kid. I love everything. I love everything about Dexter. And I got to say his name right. I believe it's Akano, if I'm not mistaken. About 11 points per game. And he had interest from several really good schools. San Diego State's one of them, UNLV, USC, and UC Santa Barbara, amongst others. So really, really good basketball player. Again, he likes the physical contact, can score in the paint, not afraid of contact, and will go right after the defense in the paint. That's what you need. We're going to take our final break, come back, wrap it up on the Full Court Press on 106.9 FM, 1390 AM The Fan.
And severe weather cause power outages, your business might take a hit, or at home you could lose your refrigerated food storage. Generac Standby Power Solutions help ensure an uninterrupted power supply. Generac is the #1 brand of standby generators. Get yours today from Golden Spike Electric, your trusted source for safety and security. Golden Spike Electric, powering your peace of mind. Online at gscgenerators.com or call 257-3016. They also service other models.
Are you seeking the best in healthcare services in Northern Utah? Look no further. Aegis Healthcare has been voted the best of Northern Utah. I am Jason Jones. We take pride in providing top quality home care and hospice services to the residents of Northern Utah. Experience the difference with Aegis. Our dedicated team is here to provide compassionate home care and hospice services tailored just for you. Call us today at 723-9000 or visit our website at myaegis.com. Aegis Home Health and Hospice, your trusted partner right here in your community.
Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat and the Allergy Clinic now have an office located inside the Miller Medical Building in Tremonton. Every Friday, Northern Utah's premier ear, nose, and throat medical physicians and staff will provide Box Elder County a better option to be seen. Cache Valley Ear, Nose, and Throat and the Allergy Clinic are now located in Tremonton. Save time, schedule your appointment today. Go to CacheValleyENT.com. That's CacheValleyENT.com for details. Most insurance products, including SelectMed, are accepted.
Nearly 21 years ago, Cafe Sabor opened their doors in historic Logan train station. With the help of hundreds of amazing employees and patronage of thousands of wonderful customers, Cafe Sabor is proud to have been voted 3 years in a row Cache Valley's favorite Mexican restaurant in the Best of Northern Utah contest. Follow Cafe Sabor on social media for giveaways and promotions. Search Cafe Sabor for a restaurant near you. Thank you, Cache Valley, from your friends at Cafe Sabor.
Security. It's the most precious thing you can give your home, especially if it's guaranteed. No cheap locks, no weak keys, no inadequate hardware, just the expertise and precision and security. Beezer Lock and Key believes there's no place like a safe home, and no home safer than one secured by them. It may seem they only sell locks and keys, but what they really sell is peace of mind. Search Beezer Lock and Key or go to 4th North and 1st West and just add confidence.
Northern Utah and Southern Idaho's home for sports. It's the Full Court Press on Sports Talk Radio, 106.9 FM, 1390 AM. The Fan.
We put a bow on this final segment of the Full Court Press. Thanks so much for letting me be a part of your guys' evening. Love you all. Miss you all. Hope you're having a wonderful, or at least have a wonderful Memorial weekend. Eric and Jason will be back on Wednesday. Fox programming tomorrow. We will talk to you guys on a Wednesday edition of the Full Court Press.
I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise. After securing the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference, thanks to a 50-win season, the Knicks' magical playoff run has come to an end. Falling short of the Eastern Conference Finals will be a tough pill to swallow after holding a commanding 3-2 series lead. But this is far from the end of the new-look Knicks. The team came into the postseason unusually shorthanded. 2-time All-NBA selection Julius Randle was sidelined the entire postseason. The Pacers capitalized on former All-Defensive Team selection OG Anunoby missing multiple games. And key bench contributors, Bojan Bogdanovic didn't see the floor the entire series against Indiana. Tom Thibodeau will always play his starters extensive minutes, but he had to because of a lack of depth. So although the loss to a bitter rival will certainly sting, with Jalen Brunson and an impactful supporting cast returning next season, meaningful basketball is officially back in the Big Apple. I'm Dan Patrick, and this is Above the Noise.